In light of a rule like this, it sort of defies imagination that the city council would go on with one of the worst pieces of legislation they'd ever come up. Why on earth would they pass this, pass that bill after what the judge said? Let's wait and see what the courts say, but it makes no sense whatsoever to go and say this is an excuse to pass a law, so we're going to have another layer of monitors.
And again, that the mayor earlier today. Now, we've talked about both the legal and the human aspect of this, but there's also a political component too. How will the decision that came down today impact the New York City mayoral race? Now, on the Republican side, GOP frontrunner Joe Lhota, he championed the use of stop and frisk, and this is pretty much the party line for any Republican who wants to be mayor. Quote, stop, question, and frisk has been an invaluable tool keeping our city safe and saving lives. Our progress in reducing crime fragile. Implementing a federal monitor will have a dramatic impact on proactive police work that we simply cannot allow to happen for the safety of all New Yorkers. Now, on the other end of the spectrum is John Liu, who's like a poster child, like some others, to completely get rid of the practice altogether. He said, quote, today's ruling by the judge highlights the enormous flaws in the NYPD's stop and frisk tactic, which has served to undermine trust between communities and law enforcement. The judge's call for reforms must be heeded, and longer term, the tactic should be abolished. It's time to put an end to stop and frisk once and for all. Now, Bill Thompson, who we've had, who stood right next to me on this, said he has problems with the current practice, but he thinks, you know, that you can change it without abolishing it altogether. But maybe that was then, and this is now. He, again, the only African-American in the race, he took a more moderate tone, reacting today, saying the president's stop and frisk policy violates the constitutional rights of all New Yorkers, but especially innocent blacks and Latinos. Instead of treating our police and people with respect, the mayor and commissioner have imposed were effectively quotas on the police and treating entire minority communities with suspicion. But he did not say, Dominic, he wanted to get rid of the practice altogether. Christine Quinn, the leader among Democrats, she openly said that she wanted Ray Kelly to stay on as commissioner, practical or not, as that may be. Start on the mayoral side and start with Democrats. Republicans, they have nothing to lose doing this. But for Democrats, after today, do they have to say get rid of it altogether, or can they have it both ways?
They can't have it both ways. What we're seeing, first it was just John Liu that called for completely eliminating stop and frisk, as you've been reporting night after night. But Liu was out there on a limb by himself, and the other candidates saw him picking up steam. So now the position, Bill Thompson is the one that's walking a very fine line on this, because he needs the black vote. And it's not all there behind him right now. The other candidates, you have de Blasio and others that are going after that black vote aggressively. And so Thompson has a problem.
He has every commercial I see the family union.
You know, it's funny you mentioned commercials, because today I turned on, Pastor, the television. There was a commercial with this African-American kid with the afro out here, and it's Bill,
getting bigger and bigger.
and it's Bill de Blasio, his son, who's biracial. So Bill Thompson's walking a very fine line. He has Republicans in his corner. He has law enforcement endorsements, and he's hoping to also get the black vote. But he's running into a problem because the other candidates are saying, you don't own the black vote. People vote more progressively in primaries, so the black vote is crucial.
Don't you think in debates they're going to make Christine Quinn either condemn or support Ray Kelly? One way or the other, she's got to answer the question. She'd love to be a police commissioner if she still feels the same way.
Yes, no doubt about it.
I wonder if there's not a little bit of tap dancing that's going on here, sort of waiting for this to disseminate to the public and find out exactly where the public stands. On this decision.
Also Sharpton. They're all playing to Sharpton. They're going to his March on Washington. Thursday night, John Liu has a speech at the Apollo Theater at 6 p.m. They're all playing to Sharpton, begging. It doesn't matter what the public thinks. Begging for his endorsement.
John Liu being mayor, but okay. Let me ask you guys. Ray Kelly, long rumored to be the next Homeland Security Secretary. President Obama spoke well of him. Eric Holder hasn't really gone out too far on a limb one way or the other.
Chuck Schumer not backing away from him after today
Supporting him today, thank you. Do you think he's still qualified if he supported this position to be basically the person policing our borders?
I don't think he was qualified before the decision. I think that anybody to target certain segments of the community is proving themselves unqualified for the position. And also when you consider that Ray Kelly advocated basically targeting the Muslim community also without any evidence that they committed any crimes, to me that's frightening. And if you give him additional power and have him running things on a national scale, and you look at things such as NSA, some of the NSA issues we already have in terms of each and every one of us being spied upon in terms of our telephone calls.
So he lost the benefit of the doubt with you.
Absolutely.
How about you, Reverend?
Well, it is interesting, and I'm kind of in agreement. One of the things that's interesting, he has never proven himself to be able to at least publicly stand against policies or against ruling or laws that the Bloomberg administration has put in effect. And I find that here you are a leader and have never publicly been in an argument. Everybody is not always in agreement. So then to put him in such a powerful position and for him never to have at least proven himself that he can make decisions based on the character of the person that he is, as opposed to the leadership that governs him, it gives you troubles. Yes.
And Dom, you know the man. You've covered Ray Kelly
for 20 years,
and he's got bona fides going back from being a Marine through other positions he's had. Do you share the same reservations as these guys?
No, they raise very valid points. Ray Kelly is a masterful politician. Remember, he has sky-high approval numbers in the black community. He may be the Homeland Security Director.
And would you have a problem if he was?
Absolutely not. I think he'd do a good job.
Explain to me the difference between the stop and frisk as applied in New York City and the Arizona Papers, Please law, where you can just get pulled over and your citizenship checked immediately. I don't see that much of a difference between the two. And I don't want that being the national policy on our borders, and I suspect there are enough, especially Democrats out there.
But he's actually supported immigration rights and the rights of immigrants. In fact, I remember him saying he would never, for example, demand identification as the mayor of New York City, who didn't want what happened in Arizona here. It's an interesting conversation. I understand all of your points here.
Richard, he get around that real easy. He was appointed by the first black mayor, Dave Dinkins, and two, he'll say he was only carrying out the policies of the mayor of New York City. He'll get around that very easily.
Okay, when we come back, we're going to switch gears, but it's a related subject. The Attorney General, Eric Holder, he is calling for major changes here in terms of how we prosecute drug crimes in America. The harsh sentences for drug-related crimes, he wants to tone them down here, saying there's a better way. Some say it's overdue. Others, he's being soft on crime. We'll talk about that after this.